in the QBO gym, and this is where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's go ahead and get started. We are getting the exercise today pulled from our September Year 1 cardio section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. Under that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Below that are all of the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you've gone through all of the exercises in this section and completed them, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's dive into today's exercise where we are going to practice entering credit card transactions. Go ahead and click on that link to have it pulled up for you. I have it over here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through the scenario. Craig set up a corporate visa so that he, Emily, and John would all have a card to use. The statement for the visa has arrived. Unfortunately, this visa does not connect to a bank feed, so you'll need to enter the transactions from the statement and pay the bill. Then you'll need to reconcile the statements. Now, you will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you did the previous exercises in. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to that first exercise. Complete that one and all the ones after it until you get back to this one. They all build on each other, so it's important to start with that first one. I have the sample company pulled up here on the left side of my screen. This is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. Now, since you are in the same session of the sample company that you used the previous exercise in, you should already be on the chart of accounts page. If you happen to have navigated away from it, you want to follow step 1, but otherwise you can move on to step 2. So I'm already here on the chart of accounts, and step 1 just says that you would hover over transactions and then click on chart of accounts, and then you would get to this page. Now, in order to enter the transactions, you will need the credit card statements. So you can download the statement by clicking on the link underneath the video. So if I go back to the gym here and I scroll up to the top, here is that animated video, and then there is a button underneath that says Visa Statement. Go ahead and click on that. And once you download it and open it up, this is what it will look like. And this is what we're going to be referring to as we are going through this exercise. So make sure you have it open and keep it handy. First, let's enter the 2 transactions for Craig's Visa or the primary account. That would be these 2 right here. There are now 4 lines for Visa in the chart of accounts. If I scroll back in here, here are the 4. The parent account labeled Visa Corporate is not used for purchases or payments. The primary account, which is Craig's card, simply labeled Visa, is the one that we want to address first. So on the far right of that line, we're going to click on View Register, which is right here. If you happen to get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. QBO is just trying to give you information about what this area is for. Now, looking at the statement, there are 2 transactions on Craig's Visa. You don't need to add the $2,300 transaction from the statement because it was added previously added, as an expense. So this one has already been taken care of. However, we do need to enter this $15 transaction from Bob's Burger Joint. As you'll see, you can add the expense directly from the register. This should only be used, however, for simple transactions that have only one category. The transactions added from the register cannot include anything from the products and services list. It cannot be billable and it cannot be tracked for a specific customer or project. So for the purposes of this exercise, we can go ahead and add it directly from the register, but just keep that in mind as you are working with clients here, that if you want to add something, you may not be able to if it has some more complexity to it, adding it directly from here. But let's go ahead and do it the way that we are showing right here, just so you can see how you would be able to. So in this date column right here, you're going to click on Add CC Expense and then click on CC Expense, which is just credit card for short. Now today's date should already appear right here. And in a real life scenario, you would want to make sure that this date is matching whatever date is here. But since the sample company is always changing their dates, we're just going to let it default to today and leave it as is. In the payee field, we want to select Bob's Burger Joint. So click into that down arrow and you will see it as the second one on the list here. Go ahead and click on that. Now, since you have entered this account for transactions from Bob's before, QBO automatically assumes that the category is meals and entertainment found right here. The memo and charge fields also may populate with information. If so, you'll just need to overwrite those fields. So you can see the memo is showing right here and then the charge is showing as well. And this is pulled from a previous transaction. It is not what we are actually about to enter right here because you can see it's only for $15. So let's go ahead and click in that charge field right there and delete what's there and go ahead and type 15. We're going to leave this memo as is. There's no, we can delete it. I guess it doesn't hurt to delete it. So go ahead and delete it. There's not an actual step here to overwrite it, but since we did say that we could overwrite the memo field, let's just go ahead and delete what is currently there. All right, so now we can go ahead and click on Save. So if I scroll over, there is this green Save button. Go ahead and click on that. And now that one has been added. So Craig's Visa transactions are now totaling $23.15 and they have all been properly recorded. So now let's go ahead and look at Emily's card next. To go to her register, we need to go back to the chart of accounts by clicking on that wording right here towards the top left corner. Go ahead and click on that. And then let's see, here we have Emily's Visa, which is this 0576. So she has, if we look at the credit card statement, she has 3 different transactions here that we're going to add to her credit card register. So on her line, the 0576, go ahead and click on View Register. And even though we were just in the other register, you may get some pop-ups here. Again, just go ahead and click out of them if you do. All right, so in the payee field, we want to click plus add new. So I'm going to click on, once again, this add CC expense and then CC expense to get this opened right here. If you need to do the same, be sure to follow those steps by clicking on that down arrow next to add CC expense and then clicking on CC expense for credit card expense. All right, so in the payee field, we need to click on the plus add new because we don't actually have the first vendor Exxon in our system. So let's go ahead and do that. And you will get this little pop-up here. Go ahead and just add Exxon in the name field. And then they are vendors, so we don't need to do anything else. Let's just go ahead and click on save. This is a shortcut that will just quickly add Exxon as a vendor. If you're going through this, if you have more details, maybe adding it a different way, where you can actually go into, I believe it's expenses and vendors, and then you can go ahead and add a vendor from there if you have a lot more details. But this is the quick shortcut way to go ahead and do it once you're here in the register. So in the account field, let's go ahead and select fuel. So click the down arrow, and fuel is the third one that is listed on this. So go ahead and do that. And then the charge, as we see here, is for $52. So go ahead and in that charge field and type 52. This has been added, so let's go ahead and click on the green save button. And now that transaction has been saved. Let's add the next one because now we have one for 7-Eleven. So click on the add CC expense and then CC expense once again, just like we've done for the previous ones. In the payee field, we need to click plus add new because again, we don't have 7-Eleven as a vendor here. So let's go ahead and type their name. Once again, they are a vendor, and just like the Exxon from the previous step, this is just a little shortcut way of adding a vendor. So let's go ahead and click on Save. And now we in the account field, we want to select meals and entertainment. My guess is that this is probably just for like some bottled water or something, something along those lines. And so that's why we are categorizing it this way. So go ahead and click on meals and entertainment once you find it. And then the charge, as we see here, is for $5. So go ahead and click into that charge field, type $5. And this one has now been added, so let's go ahead and click on the green Save button. And you'll see now that the ending balance is increasing. It's done the combination of the 52 and the $5 to be 57. Now we need to add that second Exxon expense from the credit card statement. So once again, in this one, since it already popped up, the credit card expense already showed up in the payee field. This time we can just go ahead and click on Exxon since we have already added them as a vendor. And you'll see that as soon as we do that, QBO is automatically filling in the information from the previous transaction that we had filled out here. The only difference is that Exxon, the second charge is for $38. And so we need to update that here in the charge section to 38. We already have the proper count already selected. So all we need to do now is just click on the green Save button, which is over here. And now that one has been saved and we have a total ending balance of $95. So now we have to just work on the final one for John. So let's go back to the chart of accounts so that we can look at his register. So click on that wording on the top left corner. And once you do, you will see all 4 of those credit cards once again. And all 3 of Emily's transactions have been entered. You see that 95, which is the total amount that was charged to her card. It's displayed here on the balance, and it matches what is here in this column on her on the statement itself. You will also notice that in the Visa parent account, the $95 charge on Emily's card has been added to the prior balance of that 2315, which is what it was before. But now that extra 95, the total is, this is rounding up to here to this one because it is a sub account of this Visa. And then this will roll up to this parent account, this Visa corporate. So when we add John's card, you'll see once again how that is changing the total. So let's go ahead and enter John's 2 credit card charges. This time, let's see how you would use the expense form for this. So we're going to click on the plus new button and then click on expense. So on the top left corner, click on that, and then under vendors, select expense. In the payee field, when it comes up, we are going to type Contra Costa County dump and then click on the plus add new for that. So click into that field and go ahead and type that. Contra Costa County dump. Contra Costa County dump. Okay. And then click on the plus add new. When you do this, vendor profile is going to appear. Now, in a real life scenario, it would be best to fill out as much information about the vendor as possible here, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to do a simply save it. So go ahead and click on the green button on the bottom right corner. And now they've been added as a vendor here. Now you'll notice that the expense form has many more options than entering it directly from the register. You can see all these different fields here. You can have multiple categories that you could find here. You can make it billable. You can indicate a customer or a project here, or you can select specific products and services using the item details grid down here. So if you need any of these things, you want to use the expense form rather than doing a simple add that we did for Emily's transactions and for Craig's transaction as well. So in the payment account field, we want to select Visa 0577 since this is for John's card. So click into that, and the last one here, 0577. In the category field, let's select disposal, fees. So I'm going to, oh, actually, there it is. It's not too far down. Go ahead and click on it once you find it. And then the amount, if we look at the bank statement, is for $20. So let's go ahead and click into that amount field, type 20. And then we have finished this expense, but let's go ahead and add the other one for this Exxon transaction. So we're going to click on Save and New. So that's the down arrow next to Save and Close. Select Save and New. And that expense has been saved, and a new one should appear for us in a moment. There it is. And let's go ahead and fill this out. In the payee field, we're going to select Exxon. So click the down arrow, select Exxon. We already have the proper payment account, which is John's card, so we're going to leave it as is. As a note here, the payment date is going to default to today, but of course in real life, you want to make sure that the date here is also going to be matching the date that would be here. As I mentioned before, the sample company is always changing their dates, and so that is why we are just letting it default as today. So in the category details grid in the category field, we want to select fuel. So click the down arrow, and then you will see fuel is the third one that is listed here. Go ahead and do that. And then the amount for that transaction was $41. So let's click into that amount box and go ahead and type 41. We have completed, this expense here. So now we can just go ahead and collapse that. Now we can just go ahead and click on Save and Close, which is the down arrow, and then Save and Close. And now that expense has been saved. So if we look back here, let's see, the ending balance is $24.71. So if we look here, if I scroll back, where did my credit cards go? Here we go. The total, that $24.71, is now showing here on this card because once again, it has all rolled up into this parent account. So we've entered all of the transactions from the statement properly. And so next in the next exercise, we'll reconcile the account and then pay the Visa bill. But that is how you would add transactions to a credit card. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We're going to continue on, and if you want to join, be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise where we practice reconciling and paying the credit card. And I will see you in the next video.